Well, Mary Kaldor from the London School of Economics, and John Fredericks is a talk radio host. He joins us from Virginia. Great to have you, John. Welcome, Mary, too. Mary, do you find yourself at all attracted to any comparisons to the 1930s, or are you just Hitler spotting if you look for them?
I think there are two comparisons. I mean, one is this sense of foreboding, this sense that we're in a phony war and that we haven't yet really felt the effects of Brexit and Trump, and that something bad is going to happen. The other is that this is all about the crisis of political representation. And I think what is really disturbing, which is what happened in the 30s, is the way the opposition is caving in. What you see is the opposition is totally on Brexit in this country, is totally accepting Brexit. Nobody is saying, look, we may have voted for Brexit, but it's really bad for us. Everyone is caving in on immigration. We can't actually control immigration. So if the opposition goes on and on, agrees to talk about control of immigration, it just feeds the right-wing discourse. And more alarmingly, I think it legitimizes the growth of hate crime. So I'm really nervous about where it will lead. We won't be able to control immigration, and I think it could lead to really dangerous racism and violence in the future.
Okay, well, that's a pessimistic view. John Fredericks, I know you're not in that camp. What do you think when you hear people evoke the 1930s at this point?
Well, look, Kevin, first of all, thanks for having me. And Mary just gave you the view of the globalist elitists that really don't understand exactly what is going on across the world. This is, first of all, this has nothing to do with the 1930s movement towards fascism. That was about nationalism. This has nothing to do with that. This is about sovereignty and jobs. This is a workers' revolution. Has nothing to do with ethnicity or race. It is not a revolution of nationalism. It's a worklash. This is about jobs. People in various countries, they want their countries back. They have seen their jobs shipped all over the globe because the elite globalist international gangster-bankster network has scoured the earth for cheap labor and shipped their jobs everywhere. Or they've let illegals come in to take their jobs. This has nothing to do with anything except people wanting jobs. Let me tell you something. With all the talk about whatever Mary was saying, right, all the elitist gobbledygook that you just heard, let me tell you something. Economic prosperity and jobs is the great equalizer. It is the great unifier. A paycheck has no ideology.
John?
Putting feet on
John, can I come in? John,
philosophy.
John, very, very briefly, in a line, you're saying it is an anti-globalization thing, but it's not a nationalism thing. And that's quite a subtle distinction. Just in a sentence, what's the difference between wanting your country back and wanting to make America great again, and being a nationalist?
Because it's not about America, it's about American jobs.
Okay.
That's what this whole thing is about. Right. This is a jobs revolution.
Okay.
This would not have happened if we didn't have...
I completely agree that this was an anguished vote of those left behind by globalization. But the answer to that cannot be nationalism. The answer has to be internationalism. It has to be dealing with those multinational corporations and taxing their safe havens, which is what the European Union does. It has to be regulating financial speculation. If we really want big programs of public spending in a globalized world, we can only do it through institutions like the European Union. And so to argue that this is an answer to the problem is crazy.
Right. Now, look, can I suggest that actually what this year has been is the collapse of a kind of left-right dichotomy. And what we have now, represented here in this discussion, is the new dichotomy, which is essentially a kind of open to the world, international collaboration as the solution, to the nation-state being the answer to the world's problems. And John, you're basically it's not really a right-wing or left-wing thing anymore, is it? I can't place Donald Trump. He's a big interventionist. He's a protectionist. He's difficult to place on the left-right spectrum. But boy, we know where he stands on the kind of national versus globalism spectrum. Is that fair as a kind of where politics has moved?
Well, he says he's
John.
Evan, Evan, you're right. This is a transformational president, and President-elect Trump is transforming the Republican Party in America. But the real bottom line to this is, and I disagree with Mary on this, Mary, what this whole movement is about across the globe, both in the United Kingdom, now it's happening in France, it just happened in the United States, is people want their countries back, but it's not a movement of nationalism. It's a movement of protecting jobs. The international bankster globalist network scours the earth for cheap slave labor in order to cut out workers that make a decent wage. When you get down to it, this whole argument, everything that is happening, the reaction is to the globalist search for cheap slave labor, and they cut out the jobs of people in those sovereign nations.
Let me put that to Mary, John.
Is, hey, I want to stop this. I want to get my jobs back. That's what this whole thing's
Mary,
about.
it is so striking, because I think of you as quite a sort of liberal, left-leaning person. He is John is sounding so much more left-wing than you do. He's sounding like almost a Marxist. This is the capitalist plot, effectively, to drive wages down.
But I don't disagree with him about the movement, about globalisation, but I think globalisation has also brought huge benefits. The problem is we've had dramatic economic growth, but it's only benefited the rich. And if we want, we can't go backwards on globalisation. Globalisation is not just about multinational corporations and free trade. It's about international communication. It's about interdependence. So if we want to do anything about it, the only way we can do something about it is having a say.
Taming it by international cooperation.
Taming it by international cooperation. And by the way, I want to add, it's rubbish to say it's not nationalism. That stuff about making America great again, that stuff about not allowing Muslims into the United States, that is not just about jobs, that's pure racism.
Okay, and I think we've lost John, but at this point we need to stop anyway. Mary, thank you. And John, I think we might have lost the sound feed to you annoyingly. Thank you very much indeed.